Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Igaga, and we are here on your favorite show, and that is Men. Now, tonight we're talking about house husbands. What do I mean by house husbands? We're talking about those men who stay at home while their wives or better halves go out and earn the bacon for them. Now, is it a good thing? I don't know. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. I'll let you be the judge. Don't forget, we want to hear from you. This is your show. So while we're here at the beautiful Pearl of Africa Hotel, we want to hear from you. Let's engage on social media. That's on Facebook, our page is NTV Men, or on the Twitter handles, which are individual Twitter handles, which are right below your screen. Now, today we are privileged, and I have to take a sip of tea as I say this. Yeah. To have the Africa International, Intercontinental and national kickboxing champion, who's also well known as the Black Pearl. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Igaga, and it's a pleasure for me to be here.
We are pleased to be here. First of all, if you look to your right, this gentleman there who's really stressed out, he's not too sure what he should or should not say.
He looks a little bit nervous.
Yes, a little is an understatement, but he'll calm down. Now, you're a beautiful lady on the set today. You're the only lady on the set.
Oh, thank you.
I need to ask you.
Sure.
Is it okay for a man to stay at home while a lady goes out and gets it? Because you're a go-getter.
Yep. For me, I agree 100%. Take for instance, right now, I am out there. If I was married, I am out there. I'm doing the best that I can to bring in. But the only thing that makes me like the show more is a point that we are trying to teach men and tell men to value their wives. Most of the men tend to have this instinct of going to offices and they think that they are doing the best and they are doing a lot of work, forgetting that at home the clothing they wore or they are wearing right now, it is their women who put it there. Yeah. It is them who made them to be that smart. So the children back home, they left, those children are not going to feed themselves. It's the woman who's going to do that. So we are, for this show, I'm giving it 100% a go, and people should second it, even like it more, because for us to be able to tell a man he has to sit back at home and do not just about sitting, because he's not sitting, he has to be to participate in a homework. Let him take off a day or leave or whatever he can to sit back home for even a week. So that's why you see most of the men even can't afford or cannot even be around their kids even for a second. So,
but they're a lot of work.
They can't. So I need men to value the work of women. Yeah. So they should actually change. If I was to have an office, I would actually say let all married women be the ones working and let men sit back at home. Then they see the trigger between being at home and being in office, which is more tiresome. Ouch. That's my opinion.
Now, Alf, I need your opinion. Is it okay for a man to sit at home and the ladies at the forefront? Objectively.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
There is everything right in a man staying home. And there is something very wrong in him accepting to stay home. A father being there for the child, being home for the child and being ever present is very, very important for the growth of a child, regardless of the age. To accept is a completely different thing. Whether you accept willingly or not, as long as you accept and you actually stay home, I don't feel it's the right thing, especially in our setting as Africa. In any other setting, I'm not in that setting. I've not grown up in those settings, so I will not speak for them. I'll speak for Africa. It's very important for a man to get up, get out, work, get back in. That routine, much as it may seem boring and all, it's very important for a child to see the father live and work. Very important. For a child, you may say you want to employ all the women. Oh, that's good. It's a very good idea. But I don't think the more you keep bringing up such things, still there will be gender imbalance, regardless of how you bring it up. Yeah. So it's very important for a couple to agree, to understand, and then agree upon, and then to raise the child together. There's these things of saying a homemaker and then a breadwinner, what versus what, that will not groom a child. What grooms a child are two people who understand what marriage is, understand what parenthood is, and they raise the child, nurture the child together. That's
Okay, well, very strong words. Chris, house husband, is it okay?
Peter, I for the life of me, I don't know why we're talking about this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we even talking about this? Why? Isn't it, for me, it's like, isn't it very obvious that we should not have men sitting around twiddling their fingers at home? Because, so what happens to the breadwinning role? What happens to one of women's top needs of having financial support? Because, well, I mean, this is a kickboxing champion.
Yeah.
And I say this with,
caution.
I'm cautious because her leg can
Can easily reach there.
she can like reflex onto my face. But even with that risk,
Yeah.
I really don't think men should be sitting at home. I think that a man sitting at home and expecting the wife to go out there, win the bread while he's, I don't know, doing what, because he's not even being pregnant or anything.
Maybe he's taking care of the kids. Making
Peter,
sure the
look,
house is clean.
I don't know how
clothes are
we
washed
can
and all that.
skin this to make it look right. I mean, really, I can put in concessions here and there, but I don't know how you skin it to make it look right. And by the way, it sounds good for a guy to be home until the guy doesn't leave home. You thinking a week? You can have someone who you got married to, and for all your marriage life, the guy has never had a job. Do you know that actually destroys marriages?
But he's cleaning the house. He's having a job.
Oh,
Yes. He's cleaning the house.
Let me ask you one thing, Chris. Before we get to Colin, I'd like to move his cup a bit closer. That side, yes. I mean, is it okay for a man to be employed by his wife?
I think that there are circumstances where that's okay, and I'll give you an example. If you have a wife who is a senior, let's say, dental surgeon,
Yeah.
okay, she's got a dental practice, and you are a really good accountant, right?
Yeah.
When you got married, she was running this dental practice, and it's increasingly successful, and it's got a need,
Yeah.
right, for a good accountant. You're an accountant serving the dental practice, and the head of that practice is your wife.
So
I don't see a problem with that, because you are going like you're going to any other place and you're earning. Okay? For me, that's very different from a guy just sitting at home watching TV and twiddling their fingers. In my opinion, that's wrong.
Okay, Colin, and I need your unbiased opinion here. Is it okay for a guy to sit at home? According to Chris, it's sitting at home doing nothing and just twiddling your thumb. But what if he's taking care of the kids, making sure the kids are ready, making sure their lunch is
House help.
sorted?
House help.
Yes, working,
House
doing
help.
it. There are certain things the house help can't do
House
for your
help.
child.
Peter.
Otherwise, they end up raising the children.
House help, Peter.
But is it okay
Go
for a wife to do the same?
Go work. It's very
So
simple.
what question do you want me to answer?
Okay, my question is it okay for a man to be a house husband?
So I want to say this. I always thought, you know what, a man's role, and I still believe that a man's role is to go out there and sweat and toil and wake up every day and make it happen for the family. A couple of months ago, my wife got a job in a different country. We had to prepare to move cities. And what did I do? I am preparing to go and follow her and be a house husband. But,
Okay.
so you see, our situation is unique because, you know, she's going, I'm following, I'm making the family choice. I want the family to be together, so we're going to do that. We're going to do that story. And that's fine, that's great.
You should do a reality show.
No, we're not going to do a reality show. Don't.
Remember, somebody once proposed that.
But what do I know? I know that there's dignity in hard work. I know that what he was saying, the values of a man who gets up in the morning and goes out to look for bread for his family, those are things that cannot be imitated. Yes, in developed countries and you know, they have fathers who come and take the paternity leave for half a year and stay at home and raise the child, and the woman takes the other leave, the other half, and looks after the child, works from home. That's all great. But in the African and more important the Ugandan context, it's important that the family, and I don't mean the family as the child and the wife, both see the man go out and work. And that is not so much about what he brings in, but it's about the ethic, that he gets up early, that he prepares himself, that he commits himself to a purpose and a cause, and he goes and pursues it. Now, whether he brings back little money or he doesn't bring any money, that's a different conversation. That's an efficiency conversation. You know, the guy could just be lazy. And like, he's a bricklayer who does 2 bricks a day. That's fine.
Then would he have been of more use being at home?
But would he have been of more use? A guy who goes out there and cannot, where no one knows him, he makes 2 bricks a day. You think he's going to make sure the children are fed? Okay, so, and I think that make sure the children are fed, make sure they are ready for school, they are showered, they are dressed, they go to school. Make sure that the homework is done and it is checked. And then they come back, they shower, you make sure they're fed,
because that's
you make
a
sure
job.
they do the homework, they watch TV, they have to get their
What is it? It's trying to say, if he could not make more than 2 bricks,
out there.
how is he going to do all these other things?
Because people
He's unsupervised.
Can
But when he's accountable
to his wife.
Yes, to his wife.
Supervised
Imagine
by
how
his
much
wife.
lazier he's going to be.
about changing diapers and stuff.
No, the whole
Let's
point
be
You
here,
come and the baby is smeared in feces because the guy says, you know, we got stuck watching TV. The child hasn't eaten. Okay, but maybe I think that we should start at the context of the task of being a house husband, to be a stay-at-home parent, not a house husband. Because maybe if you talk about husbands, people think it's different. It's the same thing. To look after children, you're up at 5. You make sure if you have school-going children.
There's no guy who is going to do that.
You're going to be up at 5, shower the kids, dress them, make
At
breakfast.
5 before everyone, breakfast in bed.
You're the first
clean
one
the
up,
baby,
you're the
diapers,
last one.
want
We
the
have to
milk.
go. We have to go into a break, and when
you
we
know.
come back, we will talk about house husbands and whether they really exist. For the record, I used to wake up at 5 every day.
And you are a house husband.
No, I wasn't, but to prepare my daughter to
No,
go to
no,
school.
no, Peter,
There was
were you a
something else I
house
decided
husband?
to do. So we're here at the
think-
Pearl of
I
Africa
think
Hotel
that your
talking
partner
about
was
a
eating
house
your money.
husband.
She
We'll
was
be right
eating
back
your
after
money.
the break. Welcome back from the break. In case you've just joined us, we are here at the Pearl of Africa Hotel talking about house husbands. Now, we are lucky and blessed to have the international, intercontinental, African and national kickboxing champion, the Black Pearl herself. Now, all these men don't seem to agree with you.
Yeah, they don't.
They-
Actually, they don't.
Yes, they think that, first of all, it's rubbish for a man to stay at home. There is no man who can take care of the children, who can take care of the house. And knowing where Colin's mind is going to go, he says, if you're leaving that guy at home with the house girl,
you know, for me, what I can
Who
say,
said that you own?
no, for me, what I can say, according to African perspective, by then there was no need for a house girl to be at home. Basically, it was between a mother, a father, and a clan to watch over the children. But this is a today.com generation, whereby most of the men tend to say that you can have your office at home and work as long as you own a company. So is the woman. And more or less, the way I can say, look at it is like, let's look at a point whereby a man has said, let's say there is no work. The only thing which is there is go to the garden, look for food from the garden, clear the garden and do all the rest of the work. And let's forget about looking at office every time, office and office. You can do a lot of things besides your outside office. But this is whereby you have to wake up every morning as a woman. Take for instance, I am not yet a mother, but if I am a mother, I have to wake up very early in the morning. Make sure I have prepared your shoes. Or maybe by that, I go late in the night to sleep. You're sleeping because you had your day off or your day at work. Whatever you did, I don't want to know. But look at this thing whereby most of the men are disrespectful to their women. This is a man who wakes up in the morning and is like, you know what, where are my shoes, where are my clothing? You cannot prepare your shoes, You cannot prepare your own breakfast, put it in the table, and you expect me to watch over your kids. Take for instance, we have 3 kids. All of them go to school. I wake up, maybe I miss my sleep at 4:30. I've woken up to make sure I've packaged everything to their bags. I've put up everything for their uniforms. I've made sure everything around them is prepared. And you as a big man, you can't do anything. Besides, I have to know you have your coat, you have your watch, you have your shoes, you have everything around you. So for me, I look at this as being a biased thing. Ever since from days of immemorial, men have underlooked at a woman, and yet we women we want to.
So just remind me your name, your first name. Your friends call you. What do friends call you?
My friends call me Black Pearl.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so dear Black Pearl.
My name?
Yes. So I want to ask this.
Sure.
So you're not yet a mother.
Nope.
Just tell me now when not like now when you're in training on an ordinary day.
Yeah.
Just tell me about that day. Tell me like I wake up at this time, I have breakfast, I do training, just tell me about the 24-hour ordinary day.
Okay, yeah.
When you're preparing for tournaments.
So for me, when I'm preparing for tournament, this is the time I work. I make sure at 5:30 I'm already up doing my road work. Nobody has to wake me up. I have to make sure I do that myself. After that, I have to make sure by 7:30 I am at the gym. I have to train. Depending on which tournament I have to have a break in between, a period of 3 hours. At exactly 12, I'm again back in the gym. And then I have my lunch. Then I have again evening session. That is it. So I have to have between that period of after 12 to 4, I have to have a rest in that 1 hour. That means I have to relax my body. So whereas now, it is a different case when you're having children. But
No.
yeah,
I'm going to come to you. So what time do you go to bed?
So I basically go to bed. If I have a serious training, I have to go at 8. By 8, I'm already in bed.
You're in bed at 8 to
At
be up
8
at 5.
to be up at 5.
So let me ask you. You're not even married to have kids. You're just married. You're just living with Albert here.
Yes.
You're waking up at 5. You're focused on your training. But on top of that, Albert expects that you will cook for him.
Yes, that's
Make
what
sure
you
his
expect.
shoes are shined. Make sure his pants are ironed.
Yeah, his watch is on the table.
By the time he comes home, that you've cooked.
That I've cooked. You can imagine that stress. So whereas me, that's why I'm saying I cannot expect to marry a man who can never understand a woman. A woman is not a machine that she has no resting period. This is the generation of today whereby, even if it's not a generation, but we have to look at women on the other way that they're human beings.
So Black
they
Pearl,
use blood as whatever
let me
it can
help
be.
a little bit here.
You can help, but your opinion will not change what I think about what
don't worry.
women are. We have to look at this instant and let's
It's
be
okay.
real here.
It's okay.
A woman cannot be, take for instance, this is nowadays whereby a man forget to take hankies. And he can call you and say, honey, I forgot my hanky from here. You expect me to dash from home, leave my babies from there, go bring the hanky?
Okay.
And then, this is really...
Can I just say?
Okay, yes.
Whatever
yes,
you
yes.
say it.
Am I
It's
the only
alright.
one who's
So-
frightened
so-
by
so
this
let
show? I feel like anyone who violently contracts this conversation, it's going to end for them very quickly.
Yeah, in kickboxing. But, so let me just say, there is no one here on this set who is despising women. In fact, if you check out our track record, okay, let me speak for myself.
You're quick to
No,
reply.
let me speak for
Because
myself.
you know Peter has some shady
No, I
opinions.
don't.
No, I couldn't.
No, let me speak for myself.
You even
My
neglected
track record, if you watch anything I've ever said, whether it's private, public, whatever, is I'm a very strong advocate for valuing of women.
It doesn't sound from here.
No,
like
I know it sounds confusing, so let me explain myself. Okay?
Clearly.
What we're talking about today is whether we should have men stay home dads, like stay home husbands. Okay?
Like
while the wife is out there working. I am really against that, and here's why I'm saying that. I am actually for the woman. I am for the woman because I think that it is wrong to place the burden, the financial burden of looking after a home to a wife.
Why?
Because
But Chris, when you call it a budget...
Wait, he's just explaining. He just
No,
said
I'm just-
because it's a break in a sentence. It is not an invitation for you to add your own rubbish.
Calm down. And you thought she was violent?
Okay, so because the average woman, maybe not for Black Pearl, the champion, but the average woman would want to know that her man is able to take good care of her and her kids, and that if she works because she can, not because she must. Because there's a difference between you going out there to make some money for yourself or to, like top up on what is in the family. But when it is a guy who, he gets all the benefits men get at night.
That benefit including getting a concubine on the road.
No, what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. He gets all his benefits. He's faithful to
Where
you.
you're from.
Yeah, he's faithful to you, but he's getting all those benefits. He's going to say, "Mnange muchala." You set some chai, you make him tea, then you go and work. Then you bring back the money.
A full 10-hour day.
Yes. Then at the end of the month, you bring back the money. Then he's the one who wants to divide it. This is how we're going to budget. This is how we're going to use the
This is
money.
the rent.
Like,
This
man,
is the shopping.
there's something wrong with
And
that.
you know, Jimmy has a cough.
There's something wrong with that. So what I'm saying is this: is that, and please help us to help the men. Do not support these guys who just sit at home and just. I mean, it's a whole thing of a guy is putting in no weight at all in the equation.
So you expect a woman to...
And do you know that the story Colin said of what's happening, having to move because of a family decision, right? I've also ever had to move even in terms of church community because my wife was employed somewhere at St. Francis Chapel and I had to move. Or I felt I needed to move. But I don't see Colin sitting home and saying, my hand is working.
But you see,
and then he's just doing nothing.
I'm never going to be that guy.
He's going to be working. So the thing of having a home office is different. A guy with a home office is working. I'm talking about a guy watching
just
TV.
eats
The whole
milk.
time.
there is no...
It's just a wasting time.
Wait,
What's that?
but there are a lot
That's what
of
I'm
women
saying.
who are married to this guy
Yes.
in this town
but
today.
let me ask you one question. Is it also not a possibility, and I'll need your input here, because it's arguments, a lot of people say that it's the younger guys who are doing that, they don't know how to work. But could it just be an assumption? Because you don't know what happens in somebody's home, okay? So you see this guy, he's at home, what do you do? I just chill at home. So you're like a hopeless guy. He does absolutely nothing. Yet, the guy is actually running the home.
Peter,
Can I tell you?
Men
I
cannot
know
handle.
people personally where the chick has been carrying the home for such a long time.
Wait,
and it's
it's
ruining,
not good,
it's
and they are
ruining the
He puts
family.
my
They are
coach
not
in brackets.
few.
My
Yeah,
coach,
yeah,
my coach comes into the bracket. My coach's wife is working at embassy. My coach is basically work at home. He doesn't have a job, doesn't have anything. But the only thing he does is to make sure he cleans up, he takes the daughter to school, picks her back home.
Do you know what else
But
you're
that
not
does
saying
not
about your
dehuman
coach?
him. That
Your-
does not make him
Your
a
coach
man
does
and a half.
TV. No, your coach does
Doesn't.
TV shows that are hitting town, and is making money. Your coach works.
No, he's not working.
No, can we tell you about your coach?
We have to go into a break
We
right
don't
now.
have to go into
We're
a break.
here at the
First
Pearl
wait,
of
no,
Africa
Peter,
Hotel.
first wait.
And we are
What do you
talking
do?
about house husbands. Don't go anywhere.
useless.
We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back from the break. We are here at the Pearl of Africa Hotel and we are talking
The
about
only
house
thing they have is
husbands.
a big libido.
It is a growing trend, but the million-dollar question is, why are women encouraging it? Now, guys, we can throw stones and say, oh, you know, this,
No,
all
no,
that.
yes.
However, who's keeping these people? It's women.
Women.
Why are women keeping men like
Wait,
this?
wait, let me answer that.
Yeah, we'll get to you. Why are women keeping?
No, I really
That boy is not married. Let me
we're getting
look, being married doesn't make you an authority on issues
Thank
in
you.
marriage. So what I can, no, it just doesn't make you an authority. Yeah. So, anyways, what I can, it's not the women
marriage
really
is just a
keeping
cry.
the. It's not really the women keeping the men there. No. I don't believe that a woman, that she's actually fueling it. I don't want to believe that. It could be, but I don't want to believe that. What I can say is, men are in such situations because we are allowing it. We are allowing it. The women are not allowing it. The women are not saying, stay home. What? No, 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 no. The society, you see, the society we live in is really so casual now.
what is
First
making
listen,
men
first
fear
listen,
the
first
home?
listen, first listen. In those days, a child had to get up with the dad and go hunt. A child. Right now, a child is being forced to do homework. A child is being pushed to do basic things, basic chores, basic. And then when he says, I don't want to, okay, you go watch TV. Everything is so laissez-faire, everything is so casual. It's everything. That's how life is. And when they grow up, he's 20, 24, 21, you should go look for a job. Why? It will come. I have money, I have inheritance, I have what? As in, he sees no purpose in actually going out. So the society is allowing it. It's not the women. So if unfortunately Black Pearl lands on such a man, you're not going to tell me that she is the one who fueled that. No.
No, but how did you
No,
get
no,
that?
no.
No.
Peter, I want to sort of add on what Albert has said. There is, so, and maybe this is not the best thing to say, but there is a social stigma that society places on women who end up not working out in marriages or relationships. There is a thing where women say to other women, you can't even keep a man. Now, that is painful on several levels. It's painful because it speaks to your upbringing. It could be painful because it has so many layers as a society, how people speak to you. And so when the woman has the choice, instead of kicking the guy out for being lazy, she says, for the sake of dignity and to avoid that kind of talk, she will sometimes say, you know what, let me protect for my man. Because also remember that maybe he wasn't always broke. Maybe there was a time he was working and then he went through something and then he just never came back up. You allowed him that 1 month of home break and he never recovered. So she says, you know what, let me protect for my man because I'm creating our families, protecting our family's dignity. And then of course the guy does this. And certain people will argue that because the truth is the truth and we must say the truth. If your husband is lazy, you call him out. But some people don't see it like that. This is not just a husband. He's a person you love, he's a partner, he's a companion. So the decision is not so easy. But I think that the challenge to men, so it's not so easy for the woman to say, if you don't get a job, you must leave this house. So a lot of women have done that. A lot of women today, you hear about it, you read about it in groups and conversations. Women are talking about men who just can't pull their weight. But I think the challenge is for men. The challenge has to go out to men to say, it is not cool to be a stay-at-home husband, to not be seen going out there and hustling and doing the best that you can. Because you don't have to be the biggest breadwinner, but you have to show that you're committed to something, that you get up in the morning, that you rise up to exert yourself. Because that dignity, that discipline, that hard work, one, it will pay off, but two, it sets an example in the household that you expect everyone in the household to work hard. Otherwise, you raise a family of children who think it's okay.
No, for me, my only worry here is, or my main concern here is, what is that thing that men are really afraid of? Are they afraid that women, when a woman goes out there to work, they are less of a man, or they are nothing
No,
at
no,
all?
no, no, no. That's not the problem.
I'm still here. And then the other thing is, what is that thing that men are afraid at home? Is it changing the diapers of the children? Is it always there a woman coming and they'll be like, if I raise up my voice to say something, my wife will say, what do you help? What do you give in a house? But for me, what I can say, it doesn't matter in a family. If a man or a woman is at home, basically, if you stand and you speak one common language, a man can stay home and wash dishes and do anything. But it is humiliating for them. It humiliates a man. I will respect my husband no matter what he does. If I can respect him if he's a bricklayer, I can respect him if he sells caveras on the road. If he's a hawker, why can't I respect him if he's cleaning my dishes that I'm going to feed him? If he lays the bed or wash the dishes or clean the bed sheets that I'm going to feed him.
Here's the thing.
So why am I respecting him more when he's doing such rubbish?
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you.
You can.
I am a man who washes dishes, I have, when my kids were younger, I changed their diapers, I
But you didn't
bathed
wake up
them,
at 5 a.m.
I cleaned the floor, I wake up
And
early.
I'm working.
And
bringing the money.
I've done all those things.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to understand that I am the type of man who's not afraid to do those things or to even tell other men that I do those things.
You say you were afraid. You said that's why.
No,
the
no, I'm not
maid,
afraid.
the
No, no,
maid,
listen,
the maid.
listen.
You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, but
I keep that in record.
Exactly, keep it in
Yeah.
record. So now here's the context.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of any of that.
So what are you afraid?
So, and I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just saying that men participating in what happens in the home is a totally different conversation from a man being like a leech on a woman,
A parasite.
a parasite. Huh? Where, because there are guys who just will not go to work. And he's always telling a story. He's always looking for a job. He's always he's just doing nothing the whole time. And this whole time, this woman has got to plan for the kids. Okay, first of all, she's got to say, okay, now we're getting pregnant this year. Then she carries the baby, pops the baby,
But
breastfeeds
it's
the
a
baby,
choice.
buys the diapers, looks after the kid starts going to school, pays the school fees, takes the kid
This man
from...
is just a coward.
Listen,
The way he speaks is
no, listen,
spoken.
it's all right.
This
But
guy.
He's a coward.
that's all
He's
right.
afraid of that responsibility of nurturing a baby right from 1 month
Now
to
you
day
just...
one.
Okay, you...
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Black
I
Pearl,
think
just
that
listen
you
to me.
have made a mistake.
Yes, I think she's made a big
Think
mistake.
that you only here for one appearance.
Yeah. So just think about it. So this woman takes the kid from nursery school on her back up to university. And this guy shows up at the wedding
As the father
as the father
of the bride.
to be honored.
Given
Huh?
present. Thank you for raising. Thank you for
Like,
taking
guys, we
care.
cannot be men like that.
No, but guys,
No
again,
way.
I mean, one of the things which we must consider is, again, I have witnessed, because this is something I've witnessed firsthand, where same scenario. This father has not been there for his child. Child is brought up. Child is graduating. The father shows up, all right, wants to be at the IT, makes a lot of noise and says if he's not recognized, this is not going to happen. Everybody says no. The daughter says yes. Fast forward, she's getting married, okay? She insists on being given away by her biological father, not even by the person who has raised her. So, you see, at the end of the day, can you blame him? He is a creation of the system.
What system?
But
The system of laziness where men think it's
That
okay.
women permit.
Women don't permit.
It's
Like,
not
again,
about women.
we've talked about
Women
the
don't
societal
permit.
construct.
Peter, let's
Yeah.
first chill
That
Black
shames
Pearl
women.
who's not married, who's not dealing with these men.
It's not about getting married.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
These things are visible
Wait.
to everyone.
Let's not
It doesn't
be dealing
mean
with
you
this
to be
person who's
blind
not
to
dealing
some
with
of
this
these.
stuff.
Yeah.
I am talking about people who are dealing with this painful reality. Okay? And for me, in this particular point, I want to speak as someone who is part of church leadership. And you're dealing with people who are really struggling with the guy who just cannot get his butt off his
And-
seat
and she's saying-
and get some work done to bring some money in to support. Okay? It's a serious problem.
A friend of mine was telling me, as an
Okay.
example, a friend of mine said to me a couple of months ago, they said, this woman, so apparently, so she met this guy. She liked him, they moved in together. Don't judge us. But here's what
man,
happened.
easy.
They moved in together.
Okay.
She has a good job. She's got money. She's taking care of him. She's also taking care of his real wife and their 3 kids. She's taking care of that family. This guy doesn't work. But he was saying to her, you don't wash my underwear. All that stuff. So she was telling my friend, and Holmes was just there. He was just befuddled. He was confused. She was saying, look here, this guy doesn't work. I take care of him. I make sure everything he needs in the house is done. I do
Even
this.
his other
I
homes.
take care of his other home. And on top of all that, he's now complaining that I don't wash his underwear. Maybe I should just flash him. All of this was just because she couldn't just simply say to the guy, you know what?
So she's
The
an,
sex-
an enabler.
The sex is good, but like you just have to pull your weight.
So she's an enabler.
No, I said to you, there's a social construct around it that prevents that women can and they should. That's what we're saying. Women should be able to come out and simply say, get your butt off the couch and go and get a job. But no,
All right, guys, we've reached that point when we do have to, unfortunately, wrap up the show. So, I know time flies, like it feels like we've just started.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask for your parting shot. We'll start with you.
Well,
What advice do you have for those house husbands out there?
what I can say, do not be intimidated by what these guys are saying. Love your children, be part of their development. You can still develop your children by being there at home with them. Look at their ways of the way how they are, know their likes and their unlikes. You can also be part of their ways by escorting them, help them do their homework, help them do a lot of stuff. These guys are here because they know they have money. They want to show that hero thing of saying that I bring 1 million on this, forgetting the needs of a woman. The most expensive item in a house is a woman. Her hair has to be done, makeup has to be there, clothing has to be, new shoes and everything. So whatever they're going to say, don't mind them. Do not be a coward. Step up your work and be a good role model, a dad who can be there to walk on the aisle with a daughter and be proud forever. This
All
means
right,
that
great stuff.
Peter,
Okay.
You're up
really,
next.
you're going to let this guy?
You're up next.
Foolish. All I can say is this. I think we kind of missed the point here of house husbands. These are people who agree to stay home and look after the child. And look after the child or children. They agree to stay home and look after them. How they look after is a different topic. Personally, it's okay for a man to stay home and raise the children. It's okay. But I don't think it's the right decision for any man to do that. I feel and I believe every man should. You see, it's said that a man is the most influential role model. The woman is like the oil in the machine, but you see, you need the machine. The machine is like the man. Yeah, you need the oil is there. You need the oil to keep the man running, but the man is the machine now. Now that machine is what shows the child tomorrow. You see, the man has to show the daughter how to be treated like a princess by any other man. But they see that makes him very influential. The man also has to show the boys at home how to be men, how to be a man, to look after a woman, to look after the families. Now, you can't do that if you just seated at home. Every day they see you seated at home. I don't know. You will not. You see, all those things. It's a ripple effect. You sort of. The woman will see you as almost less of a man. So one day, one time, the children will be like, "Hey, what are you saying?" As in, all my friends at school, their fathers go out. And, you see, so it's a ripple effect. So you lose your value as a man. Why? Because you're seated at home. So what I would say about stay home dads, be a father, be a parent, but man, work, be a man. Isn't that's the first thing? You're first a man before you're a parent.
Cool.
So yeah.
Chris, your parting shot in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I am all for men participating in being a father. I wrote a book, The Gold in Fathering. I'm all for that. Okay? That's my heartbeat. All right? But I'm not for guys just lousing and not making money and not taking care of their families. I think there's even a scripture that says that he who doesn't look after his family is worse than a heathen. As in you don't know God. Okay, so for crying out loud, guys, just work and look after your family. 30 seconds, I'm done.
Cool, great stuff. Yes, big man. Your parting shot.
As a house husband to be soon. No, so I mean, Chris said something earlier. It doesn't matter where I go. It doesn't matter how far I travel. I will never be that guy who sits home and eats cornflakes and flips the TV. I'm not that guy. And I think it could be a work ethic thing, it could be an upbringing thing, but I know very well that there is a core for men to take charge and do the things that they must do. They must provide. They must provide leadership. They must protect their families, and they must profess. Those are the things that are important in a woman's life. The Black Pearl here said that a woman is the most expensive thing in a household. Ask yourself, if the woman is the most expensive item, you need hair, you need nails, you need makeup, and she's providing those things for herself, how long is it until she says, but what does this guy do? Yeah? Apart from procreation services. And finally, I want to say, there is dignity in fathers being there and raising their children and being an active part of the fathering process, raising them, changing diapers, doing homework. There's beauty. There's beauty in all of that. But there is also dignity and respect and things that come from being seen as disciplined and thorough and driven. And all those things come from working.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, now you've heard it from the guys and the beautiful Black Pearl. We have been talking about house husbands. Mine is mixed. At the end of the day, men, go out there and work. That one goes without saying. But also it's important to be a big part of your family life, especially for your children. So either way, make sure you have a perfect balance. That's it from us tonight here at the Pearl of Africa Hotel. Have a good night and God bless.